Good morning, Sean Tactics. Kenny, good morning. I hadn't even got all my fish lights turned on yet. Just letting everybody kind of filter in. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish turning these tank lights on. I don't know if this will stretch. Well, they got some of them anyway. Hey, did I tell you guys yesterday that I actually have a baby peacock gudgeon? I found him again yesterday. I'm hoping the other ones will hatch out. I don't know if they will or not. The setup that I've got going on them, I don't know if it's got enough air coming across them or not. Roxanne, good morning. Of course, y'all have been up. I was in Father Fish's stream, but I was not awake. So, I too, Kenny, just woke back up. I woke up just in time to go throw my coffee in the microwave. See, I'm still tired. Oh, still tired. Let's see. And there is the, whatever you call it, link, if anybody wants to come up, doing it so that I can hook my phone up, but, let's see if that'll work. This morning, my computer didn't want to get up either. It's hard to be a late night person and a morning person. It's hard to be both. But I'm going to keep working on it. You look like that. Kenny, how are you feeling, man? I've got those fish I've got to mail out to Hawaii today. I was supposed to mail them out yesterday, but I forgot and fed them Saturday morning. So I needed to let them fast another day. And the guy texted me yesterday. Or he emailed me this morning, or whenever, last night, this morning, and was asking about them, and I had forgot to let him know. And so I had said, look, I'm sorry. They got fed Saturday morning, so I needed to fast another day, but I'm getting them in the mail to you today, I promise. So, yeah. Bad business. But I'm also human. So, let's see. We're going to look back at them fish again today. Turn their light on too. What was that? There. And we have something else to look at other than me. Oh, Roxanne, you can't go back on camera till you... Girl, look at my bags. Shoot, I'm puffy. Right there. Puffy. Need some cucumbers. Need a spa day. Oh, you feel better than yesterday? Kenny, that's good. You're going to be lurking while... You're going to be lurking while in a Zoom meeting? Okay, I guess I won't get too loud then. So still, I can hear it. Still hear it. You can still hear it. Well, I just put my phone on the fish tank, but I've been reading, well, in spare time, which I don't have much of. I've been reading the book called DNA Simplified, Guppy Genetics Simplified. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, after last night, you know, on mine and Chubbs' stream, you know, one of the last questions I asked Father Fish was, you know, what oh, there you are. Hey.
Good morning.
Well, you don't look as bad as you say.
Oh, I feel a little better today.
Yeah. Let's see. Do it like that. There.
We're going to be grandparents again last night.
Oh, Kenny, that's great. I guess,
Yep.
Right?
Another granddaughter.
That's a good thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Mine wasn't so good news, but I'm glad we have her, you know, but he was a little young. So you just have to check.
There's an old saying, Jess, if you wait till you're ready, you'll never have kids, right?
That's no doubt. Yeah, I had my screen split. That's why I didn't see you back there.
Oh, you're fine. So which line is this we're looking at?
This is this little bowl that I have. I don't remember if I had it up while you were here. Did I have it sitting there in the windowsill?
Nope, that's new.
It's a Russian, like it was given to me. It's a Russian, heirloom type bowl. And the lady had it sitting outside with some plants in it, and her husband every year would get it replanted for her. And, you know, I told her what I would do if I had it. And she was like, well, okay, I'm going to give it to you. Just don't ever give it away. If you ever give it away, give it back. I was like, I'm good with that. Yeah. So I took it, and I got plants growing out of the top. I did have a beta in there. Yeah, it's still got a beta in there. And then those are cull guppies, male guppies, out of some of my special tanks, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta stop calling them mutt guppies because they're not mutt guppies.
I know. So I haven't put them in those tanks yet. Just in case one of my other males in that tank, you know, go down and I just need to pull one of them. I didn't want to have to go hunt for them outside in the tank. I have one at least.
Cool.
I found him yesterday. In fact, I think I see him now. Tiny. Dang, you could barely see him. I thought that beta babies were tiny. These things are little bitty. But I've got those planter spikes, and I try to transfer the males with them, but this time the males wouldn't come with them. So I transferred the spikes, and I have 2 bubblers just set just on the inside of them, hoping that it kind of moves some air, or not air, but water over them, you know. But I don't know if it's gonna work or not. And I did put some malastane blue in it. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed they hatch out. But on the other side of that, I got 2 more laying eggs. If I got 2 one week and 2 the next week. So, and I got all of the, I attempted to get all of the scuds out of that tank, because I think that's why they weren't hatching with the parents in the tank. And unless a batch of them hatches, I do have them all out. But
good morning, Chewy. Good morning, Scullies.
Oh, good morning, everybody. As be running in my mouth. But yeah, so hopefully after this, the parents will be able to raise them, if they could ever get it figured out. And I guess eventually they do.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been cold here. It's like, woke up this morning, it's 31 or 32.
No way.
Yeah. It's been
Oh, I see your breath. You blew your breath. Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Well, I get that tank in the garage figured out today. They're down to 75.
Yeah.
So I have to add another 300 watt.
Good. One fishy dude. One fishy dude.
Now that's a name there.
Yeah, isn't it? One fishy dude.
You'll remember that one.
Oh, wait. Kev. Did I see? Yeah, Kev's there. Chewy. Look backstage. Did I miss somebody again?
Yeah, I see Kev went back to that bugging fish, huh?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. No, Chewy.
Hello, how are you today?
We're good this morning, Chewy. How are you this morning?
Oh, I got a long day ahead of me, so.
I hear ya.
Well, for me, for what I cover on my channel, not every country in the world has got a wide selection of metal bands. So when you're off in a foreign country like Thailand, it's easy to find out information about fish.
Yeah?
But not so easy to deal with the record companies over there.
Wow. Are you in Thailand, or you just call over there?
I do virtual travel on my show. I try to educate people for culture, history, nature, the whole.
Right. I've seen some of it. It is a wide variety.
Yeah. So I'm not pegged into it, but I'm willing to take the copyright hit. Because I'm involved in the music industry.
Right.
I have to interview people in the music industry. So it's sort of like, you want an interview, you better give me a break when I interview your artist.
There you go.
Be right back in the coffee.
Go for it. So when that, do you get a lot of people that try to copyright you or get you for copyright?
I've only been copywritten one time, and it was over an educational film, because I know how to check with the various different record companies, the publishers, etc. I do not deny the artist of the money that is made to them, like other reviewers on YouTube.
Right.
I do not deny that. It's
right.
when you get blocked or a copyright strike. That's when it's wrong.
Yeah.
We're trying to help that person out.
Right.
So to me, it's wrong, but you're dealing with the publisher. People misunderstand what copyright is all about. It happens at the point of creation. If the copyright holder wants to let you use it for free, it's called Creative Commons. That's what YouTube audio library is all about.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Whereas a publisher can be a record company, can be management, it can be the actual publisher that writes out the music into a book. They control the right of that copyright once that contract is signed.
So it really has nothing to do with the person that actually did the content.
They just hand over the royalty rights.
They just hand over the royalty rights.
They get the royalties, a percentage through the record companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's how it works.
But I guess they have to have those people to get their stuff out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how I know practically like about 40 publicists around the world.
Oh, wow.
I know Queen's publicists. I know Queensryche's publicists. I've worked as a publicist myself. I booked several radio shows, including, people on Sirius Radio.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Artists that go, here, take my music. I don't even care. I'll take off the copyright. I'll get the publisher to take it off. Because I know you. Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
But I also know people in the guppy world.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you about an interesting strain.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Philip Shattuck.
No.
He wrote several books on genetics of guppies. He was the founding member of the International Guppy Education and Educational Society. He developed the see-through guppy.
The glass guppy?
The see-through guppy.
It's different? Okay.
Okay?
And you said his name is Philip
Shattuck.
Philip Shattuck.
He's from Canada. He developed the see-through guppy that is used in back research, but he also understood the isolation of genetics.
Okay.
Okay? And my particular gene that I particularly study is the magenta gene. Do you know what it is?
What?
It mutates colors. It bends them. Okay?
Okay.
It'll turn yellow into orange. It'll turn a Moscow on the recessive side to look powder blue. A Hawaiian blue Moscow.
Uh-huh.
It will turn that Hawaiian blue Moscow into, on the recessive side, into a light blue shade throughout the body with a metallic scaling with a big Moscow blue tail of the same color of the Moscow. Now, his fish that he isolated the gene with is called the silver rattle.
Silver rattle.
Yes. Referred to as the red silver rattle, which was a small-tailed fish Jesse has got red-tailed Silverados as a short tail.
Okay.
Okay. I owned 2 of Philip Shattuck's strains that were based around. Yes. Yes.
Where'd you do with them now?
I was part of the Canadian club while Philip was involved in. Instead, I end up over the Philippines when he retired out of it. Because we didn't have enough members.
Oh.
And he wanted me to continue studying Asian genes. Hence, I'm a member of the Philippine Guppy Club.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I happen to have the background information on those 2 strains that I kept. I also know the other phenotype. The other phenotype is being sold by redfish bluefish.
What?
Yes. And magenta changes the color of the fish as it grows up.
And Jesse's got some magentas too.
Yes, but he's got the short tail. And there's keys to the female. Okay?
Okay.
My powder blues had albino genetics put into them. Okay? They would throw about 20% albino and about 80% normal-eyed. The other strain was crossed with a high dorsal, which you see in the females that redfish bluefish has. I happen to know this because I know who he got them from, who is also a member of the IGEES. And so if you know the history of the fish, like I know people from the IFGA, the Musos, for example. Gary can tell you that every strain that is North America is related to his.
Wow.
Because he knows who he sent them to.
Right. So
how do you learn about the history of the fish? You have to know the breeder, and you have to know that they are giving you the truth. And if you're buying them off from somebody who does not know, who does not know that fish well enough, you don't know what genetics are inside of it.
Right. For real, you really don't know what's all in there.
Yes. But when you see Philip, when he was part of that education society, his website was full of all of the different phenotypes, and he wrote a Bible on it.
Wow.
Like about a $300 book.
Where's he at now?
Still in Canada being an artist.
Aw.
He got out of the hobby. He started in discus, and he went, there's not enough chromosomes in that animal. Guppies are like humans. They have 23 chromosomes.
Wow.
And where the magenta gene came from is actually a breakdown of the metal scale. So it tints the color.
And so the magenta.
I can tell you that the Hawaiian mascot was involved and his strain of magentas in that fish that redfish bluefish has. I was talking to the breeder about it. Oh yes, the fish changes color. That's a 12-year-old strain. it still needs work. Because only the female carries the high dorsal gene.
Uh-huh.
So it comes down to selection of females to get that high dorsal into the male.
So it's just like the female is the one that carries like the Dumbo. So in the same aspect, it would be the female carries a high dorsal.
Females carry finnage. And there's methods around straightening out tails because of the females.
That's people why Jesse was telling me, okay, that makes sense.
Shape. People automatically look at color instead of shape.
Yes.
So buy a book by Philip and he'll tell you how that female dictates what the male shows.
Ha, see, I was right. She is the queen. Yes. I knew I had something with that.
Yes, of course.
Hey, good morning, Big J. Good morning, Holly.
The thing is when the female has got the high dorsal, in this trait, it's not giving it to the male.
Well, why not? Because he doesn't have it.
Because he doesn't have it.
Well, how do you get him to have it? The babies. Well,
but not everything is online.
Yeah.
Like the big breeders are not coming online.
Yeah. Well, they need to.
They don't want to.
I know. They don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're more concerned about putting on a show and raising their own breeding stock.
Right.
To get breeding stock, you're looking at, like, of quality, you're looking at around $300.
Yeah.
Minimum. Like, they know what's going to win a show.
Mm-hmm.
I have two friends, one from, like, the IGES is part of the World Guppy Association, along with the IFGA. I have a Canadian friend that's retired from the IFGA that is my mentor in regards to knowing what their shows are about. But they don't know anything about the Asian genetics. It's the Asians.
And like, how did
like Philip? I know about my favorite breeder from Thailand. Minimums on his is like $250 a trio.
Woo!
Yeah. There's a difference between a show pedigree of a dog or a horse or any type of animal.
Yes, there is.
A purebred and a mutt.
Right.
A phenotype and a genotype.
That's true. I never thought of it to be that.
Some guy just texted me. I got to do a phone interview here.
All right, Kenny. Good luck. Feel better. So that makes a lot. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, I've done horses forever, and you've got the same levels there. I don't know. I'd never thought of fish it being that way.
When it comes to showing fish, it is that way, especially in bennets, goldfish, koi, and guppies.
Huh. Well,
when you're selling $200,000 koi, there is not a mark on them. Ever wonder why guppy breeders of the IFGA breed their fish with no substrate?
Why?
Bad bacteria that can get on their fins that a judge can shine a flashlight at to see that.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm blown away on that one. I mean, wow. Well, it's just like tips of the trade. With cows now, when you have show cows, they have freezers. They put these cows in so that their hair grows thicker, just so they can groom the hair to make the different parts of the body look thicker. So I mean, it makes sense. It's different though, because fish. You think in fish, and you think, fish tank, and fish live in, what do you call well, fish, not just fish tanks, but even outside, they have substrate. They have plants,
And that's what I see. And I also know some of the big importers out of Thailand that know the various different grades. So what is being sold at for like $35 or $50 a pair is not $250 breeding stock. It's just a purebred fish that carries that gene.
Right.
It's like buying a German Shepherd. How many German Shepherds are show winners? Right.
Well, it's like my corgi. I sell my puppies for $1,200 a piece.
Yeah.
She wouldn't win first place, but she's not going to lose either.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's that show grade, and then there's the offspring that the breeder can tell right off the bat. It happens in lovebirds. It happens in various different other types of animals as well.
Well, you are just all kind of full of knowledge, Chewy.
Well, I've been in the pet industry ever since I was basically 12. I was a volunteer at our club store.
Yeah.
At the age of 12.
Wait, your club had a store?
Yeah. And then I worked in a pet shop when I was 15. And by the time I was 17, I was assistant manager and working in a wholesaler.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I played hockey and got too many concussions. And those cause seizures. You cannot get a scuba ticket.
Right. Oh, man.
So I ended up getting picked up by a rock star from my pet shop because I ended up in the rock industry as a sound engineer.
Well, what kind? That's still that's still pretty good. It's a pretty good story there.
Yeah. Well, the rock star was Mike Reno from Loverboy, before Loverboy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's neat, though.
Yeah.
So as you're traveling and everything, we're picking up fish and still doing the animal side of it?
I volunteered at aquariums and zoos.
Okay.
I did not want to put my roommates through the situation of looking after my animals.
I get it.
And so when a drunk driver destroyed my career, I got back into it. And hence I went looking for my favorite fish, my first fish in the hobby, guppy.
Right.
Okay? And that's all due to the fact that my boss was into guppies too, and was also one of the first directors of the American Live Bearer Association back in 1971. I am also an original member.
That is cool. Wow.
So yes, I've been around the block, and then I got back into the block, studied a lot, When you've got guys that write books telling you this is what you do, you listen.
Right. Oh yeah, that's for sure. You listen.
I'm also tied to the International Beta Congress through Thailand.
Can you speak all of these languages?
He's out of there. Is the president of the IBC.
Wow. Wow. I'm speechless.
But I can't keep fish anymore because I belong in a wheelchair. Doesn't mean I can't study him.
Right.
Doesn't mean I can look at a fish and tell what genes are in it. Like when I saw that fish, that redfish bluefish had, I sent it to 3 guys. They all told me, you're right, it does contain the magenta gene.
See, I had somebody sell me some on eBay. This is before I knew about the magenta gene. And, rare magentas. And all they ended up being endlers. The endlers.
Again, you got to know who the seller is and what they know about fish.
Yeah, and like I said, it was when I first got started. I didn't know any better, any different.
Well, do you think that the people that walk into pet shops know any different?
No. But do they care either? Are they at the point,
there are some that do.
Yeah.
The pet shop that I worked at, we carried purebred strains, but they were priced as such.
Right.
Not your dollar guppy back then.
Right.
They were like $15 a trio.
Mm-hmm.
And with economics, you can realize where that went up to.
Right.
Like the pet shop sold mine, but mine came from an IFGA breeder. They were good guppies, but you have to select best calls to go somewhere.
Right. That's right. That's what you got to have them go somewhere, because I haven't, like this tank that I have on here, that's what I was saying. These are my culls, but I don't want to put them in my mutt guppy tank yet. But they're my first culls too, so.
But guppies are a lot more easier to get rid of than Jack Dempsey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bred cichlids as well.
So, really?
Yes, I bred African cichlids. And I fed Jack Dempsey babies to guppies because the market could not saturate all that many Jack Dempseys.
Right. Huh. Did you do rams?
No.
No.
I came from hard water country.
Okay.
African cichlids, at least all 3 lakes, but I never kept the 3rd lake. I've kept 2 fish of the 2 lakes, but I also bred angelfish.
So rams don't come from Lake Tanganyika?
Rams come from South America. They're a rainforest fish. They're a softer water fish than the hard water fish.
So they won't do good in hard water?
No. You can keep them, but you can't breed them. You need softer water.
Huh. Well, I'm glad I know that now, because I was so fixing to dive off into that wormhole too.
if you want to go to a dwarf cichlid that likes hard water, think of shell dwellers. They do very well in hard water.
Shell dwellers?
Yes.
Like Shelleys?
Yeah. They'll do very well in hard water. Water is the first thing that I was taught by my other mentor who owned the wholesaler. Because it's time for you to be taught about the rainforest. You do good with every hard water fish. Now we've got to teach you about the soft water fish. We didn't have RO units back then. There were only two options: rainwater and distilled water.
And so you would use distilled water?
We didn't see that much rain. So we would have to order distilled water for shipments coming in from South America to get tanks ready because of the pH shock going from 4 to 8 pH. Meanwhile, I'm going to high school and I have to be at my job for at least 12 hours.
Wow. You went to high school and went to work for 12 hours?
Yes.
Good night.
I had to pay for my hockey gear. I wanted to be a hockey player.
Bad.
But I got injured when I was 16. So my careers got screwed around because I got concussions playing hockey. So I had to find something. Well, my hockey partner's older brother was the guitar player of the band that Mike Reno sang for, long before he was a recording artist. Yeah. And there I am getting picked up from work to work because I suffer from seizures, can't drive.
Right.
By a rock star.
Well, it's not too bad of a trade-off.
No, it wasn't too bad of a trade-off, right? But it put a lot of pressure on school, and due to the type of head injuries I suffered, I don't understand English.
Right.
My brain doesn't understand it. It can't comprehend it.
English?
Yes. Mathematics, to be or not to be, doesn't make sense to somebody unless they want to commit suicide.
Do you understand other languages?
I can digest a little French, and I can read Russian, and in English context, not their alphabet, but in English context, as well as some Italian. My ex was Italian-Russian.
Oh. So if you have hard water and you didn't have an RO and you used distilled water, what would you add to the distilled water to make it what it needs to be? Because distilled doesn't have minerals.
We had to use peat moss. There was no almond leaves. There were no other botanicals per se back then. But that was how we had to filter the water, and we would filter it a week ahead of time. And every fish in that wholesaler would stay in the wholesaler for a minimum of 2 weeks.
Wow.
And the reason why, because of that, is we did not throw chemicals right away at the fish.
Okay.
We threw salt. Nothing else. Unless it was obvious.
Right.
Totally obvious. But the world has changed nowadays. The parasites in our waterways have gotten way worse. They've mutated due to all of the chemical structures that have been thrown in our waterways. That's how come
Right.
we can't get any antibiotics. And it's not just the pet people. People throw their antibiotics into the toilet all the time.
Yeah, I know in the cattle world that they've pulled a lot of medications from us because of farmers mishandling it,
Yeah.
and especially the antibiotic feed. They pulled the antibiotic food away, I think about 2 years ago.
It's going to happen in the fish world down there too.
Yeah.
The only thing that's saving it is all of the pharmaceutical companies are from the U.S. We can't get anything.
Right.
But there are alternatives. There are studies into alternatives. Just because our pine, like here it is in a drift. Our fish are used to pine needles. Our native fish are very used to pine needles being in the waterways.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have trout or salmon. Think of how much forestry we got up here in BC. And how many various different kinds of freshwater fish live in that.
Right.
The pine is actually a natural antiseptic.
I'll be daggone.
Yeah. Because it's like a pine oil. It kills bacteria.
Huh.
And I know people over in Asia that have used various different plants from their forestry in medical practices. Rather than dumping copper into the waterway, they would rather try something else. The Asians have been experimenting with fish longer than we have.
Oh, yeah.
They know their environment better than we do.
They look at us and laugh.
And destroy it.
Did they just look at us and laugh? Like how young we are getting started, considering them?
Well, I don't know about that. I think that they have got a great appreciation for certain people in the industry.
Okay.
But they know that our side of aquarium keeping is a lot lower than theirs. The Germans are ahead of us too. Way ahead of us. They were using tea leaves and coffee grounds to change their pH.
Huh.
Back in the 50s.
That's pretty cool. Good morning, Ramsey Country. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button, man.
And so my studies now go more along with the environment. And if people really care about Thailand, their national park gives you every information of every plant and animal in their national parks.
Wow.
Yes. They are very well organized. Because of the tourist industry.
Yeah.
Because they know that fish people like to travel.
I would love to travel, but I'm too scared to. I'm too scared to go across seas.
Well, I'm tied to the Boston Aquarium Society Education Committee as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Project Piava's head dude is from that organization, Scott Dowd. So I got to continue on with my rainforest studies.
Yeah. Did you get any grants or anything to help you with that?
Nope.
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 Just did it on your own.
Mm-hmm. I used to do a radio show. And then I also suffer from lung cancer and various different kinds of things that prevent me from talking for 2 hours on a metal show and 2 hours on a fish show. 4 hours a day, no thank you.
Hear ya.
Yeah. So basically, we retired the show.
Huh.
My co-host and I.
Right. What was your show on?
Fish.
Was it really?
Reefs and Rivers Aquarium Show. It was on the Wacko Radio Network on Blog Talk. You can go and listen to some of the episodes.
I have never even heard of that. Blog Doc? Blog Doc. Am I saying that right? Like BLOG?
You have to look up Wacko Radio Network. WACKO Network. And it will show up on the search.
I wonder who came up with that name.
The guy who owned the radio station. We were syndicated.
Wacko Network Radio. How many other kind of shows did they have? Or was it just like a fish thing?
They had 8 different shows. They had my entertainment review radio show, and then we would do the Reefs and Rivers Aquarium show right after that on Sundays. Nobody else wanted the spot. And so it worked out well for me because all of my friends were off on Sundays.
Okay.
So I would be able to interview my entertainers for two long hours, and then go for fish right after that with a co-host, and do that for 2 hours with special guests.
That's awesome. But y'all had to let that go.
Yeah.
Aw.
I couldn't keep up to it. With my health issues, I couldn't keep up to it.
Kevin, I don't see you backstage. I might have missed you. And y'all just talked about all kinds of different fish. Or did y'all have a specific favorite?
We covered everything. We covered everything from big reef aquariums to big shows like Aquarama, the biggest trade show in the world. We had Dr. Tim Miller Morgan on our guppy president in the Philippines, Ronald Ricarcion, because he was the only guy that could speak English and speak Thailand and speak Malaysian. So that's who became my mentor after Philip retired.
Wow.
He would ask the breeders certain questions for me.
Holly Gibbs is
the genes that I was studying were recessive. The best recessive breeder in the world, in my opinion, is Andrew Lim out of Malaysia.
He's in Malaysia?
And I do believe he is on Facebook as well.
Andrew
Lim.
Lim? Okay. Lives in Malaysia?
Yes.
Wow.
And he's a judge.
Of guppies.
Of guppies.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of his pictures for recessive guppy work is in Philip Shattuck's books.
And where is Amazon carry Philip Shattuck's books?
They did. A lot of them are out of print.
Did.
You might be able to find the odd PDF out there, and you might be able to find maybe secondhand books. I have 2 out of his 6 or 7.
Wow.
I wish I had the Bible, to tell you.
Right.
But
is that what he called it?
Yeah, no, that's what the industry calls it.
Oh.
Like, can I bring up another breeder's name that is on YouTube here?
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend in the IFGA as well. And you are a part of a guppy talk group that we both are there. Doug Gray is one of my best friends.
I love Doug Gray. I love Doug Gray.
Doug Gray has got Philip's books.
What? Man. Yeah, I've just got his email. Why couldn't, well, I guess he could make copies of it, but he can't.
Could you?
That'd be copyright. Do what now?
Could you make me a mod for a moment? I want to show up
maybe. I can remember how. Let's see. Go back up here. I don't know if it'll let me do it. Oh yeah, there goes. There. You should be now. You go get my coffee, please. I can't.
Nope.
I'm almost done. It didn't work?
Nope.
Okay, let me try this. Go heat this up.
Oh, what if I can be able to hear myself? Can't hear it.
Why can't you hear?
The video?
Didn't work
Oh,
in
it's not
chat,
working.
but I gave you the link backstage. Could you show that fish for me, please?
I didn't go for myself. Yeah.
I know, I'm back.
Copy that.
It will show you Philip Shattuck's magentas, the strain I have. And if you notice the metal sheen, you can tell that it's a metallic scale breaking down. Thusly, the fish changes color as it gets older.
Huh. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Where'd it go?
It's playing. It's a short little video.
They are very shiny.
Yes. It's a metallic scale.
Thank you.
And it's the breakdown of that scale that will change yellow to orange as the fish grow older. See the 2 examples?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
One's daddy and one's son.
That's just awesome. So that's the magenta gene that's doing it.
magenta gene that has been isolated. And if you look up see-through guppies by Philip Shattuck, you will see his see-throughs.
On YouTube?
On YouTube. THRU. Not through, but THRU is what he called it.
There it is, right there.
Notice that you can see the spine of the fish. It is a fish that is used for medical community to study back injuries in humans.
Wow.
I figured out, yes,
Those were selling for around $200 a trio just at the breeder stage, not the show stage. Philip was not a show guy. He was basically heavily interested in genetics.
Right.
I've already shown you maybe just let some other people see. This series, it hasn't.
No, that's not them because those got yellow spots. I mean, orange spots.
Yeah, they get crossed with other strains, you see.
Okay. Do the see-throughs have red eyes?
There are albino see-throughs, too. He had albinos and regular.
Huh? Do the see-throughs have see-through eyes?
No, they're red or black.
They're red like a or
their
black.
body is see-through.
I did not realize that there was actually.
And then there's the guppy color wheel.
What's that?
Blue is recessive to red, and green is recessive to purple. Yellow is the color that wishy-washies around between the color group. And to control a recessive gene, you need another gene to control to get the red out of bluegrass. It's called the Asian blotch gene, developed in Asia.
The color wheel thing is called the Asian blotch.
Blau. B-L-A-U.
Blah.
Because they also bred bluegrass that showed a little bit of red in their tail, but it wasn't heavily noticeable, but it was ready to fall apart. So Philip sends me a fish with the blotch gene in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, my mind's like.
It's understanding the genetics, and try to understand 23 chromosomes is tough. It's like trying to understand the human race chromosome. What would we look like if we inbred ourselves like we inbreed other animals?
I don't know.
Would we have spinal issues? Guppies sure do.
We have spinal issues without inbreeding.
Exactly.
But I mean, in the beginning they inbred.
Yeah. But that was due through selective type of nature doing its own thing, not man.
Right. Right.
Like a good example of it is the blue molly and short-bodied fish. You know what they've done? They've
What?
bred the fish without that particular backbone. It's actually missing bones. That's what it makes a short-bodied fish.
I actually have a short body
Yes.
guppy. I have a short body guppy. And it was really weird. My green dragon, my Dumbo green dragons, and I didn't know it when I got them. I didn't know it until later on that they are short body. And so I have a few that are long body, but I'm trying to breed for the shorter body.
Well, you got to select and make sure that it is a short body instead of a
fluke,
degenerative type of thing. There is a difference, or a crooked spine kind of thing.
Right. You are just full of energy, full of knowledge. You and Alex. I mean,
I've been studying them ever since I was 7.
Wow.
You could have pulled me away from my duck tanks.
I hear you.
So, watch the fish.
Yeah.
Watch the fish. Like, my first line was a purebred short-tailed, okay, like a pintail type of half black, yellow-tailed guppy. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful little fish, but they were falling apart, and I did not know it. I learned it much later on when I talked to Gary Musso from the IFGA, who basically could trace his strain all over the world to who he gave them to. Because he was a seller, a major seller. He still is. He's on YouTube. He told me that he knew every person that has a blind and can follow it all the way through. So how does he add new blood to his strain if they're not up to that quality? They're all going to be relatives sooner or later.
Right.
Okay, so, but what he taught me about my strain was what was happening to his, which would get him thrown off of the judging right away. You want to know what it was?
What?
A cute little black edge around the tail. When you enter an IFGA show, that whole tail has got to be cream yellow. But I liked my strain.
Right.
Because I was breeding for that character.
Right. So did the IFG not take or not? I guess you would have had to put them in a different category.
I've never entered the guppy. I look at guppies the same way as Philip Shattuck does. I want to study the fish.
Oh.
I entered angelfish. That was my category. I bred angelfish in bare bottom tank, my Veil Angels.
I like Veil Angels.
I had silvers that were magnificent, huge.
Aw.
compared to the fish that they are today.
Right.
One here works out really well.
I got
So
one, bless its little heart. I got it from the pet store. I bought 5 or 6 of them, and something happened. It almost like they got burned somehow. But this one made it, but I did not. I realized before all of that he's deformed. He, instead of swimming, like this, he swims like this. His pectoral fins do this.
yeah. Well, some of the keys to finding good angelfish is knowing what to look for in their fins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just buying 5 or 6 of them from the pet store at the time. And I didn't notice because they were small. I didn't notice that he was that way, or she. I don't know what it is. But he'll eat the heck out of her.
There is an angelfish society as well.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know that there is an angelfish society as well?
No.
There is an angelfish society. Matt Peterson from Amazonas is a big time member of that society, who also writes for Amazonas and Coral, and wrote a book on the Banggai cardinal fish.
Uh-huh.
There is articles on that on their site by my mentor, the starting membership of the American Livebearer Association, the founder, Dr. Joanne Norton, who had a degree in genetics in botany.
What?
Yes. That was her doctorate, but she loved live-bearing fish.
Right.
Her nephew is a great guppy breeder. He has beautiful green galaxies.
Huh. Well, hopefully one day I can say maybe I know half of the knowledge you do.
All it is books, reading,
Right.
watching, looking at fish. Like, there's good pet shops, there's bad pet shops. There's good breeders, there's bad breeders. I just don't automatically assume that I'm going to get a prize-winning fish.
Right.
I just expect it to be a pure breeding fish that shows the characteristics of the rules and regulations of that type of fish.
Right.
And then it's up to me as a breeder to figure it all out. Like, I'll give you a big hint. This is a big hint. You are right. The queen is more involved than people realize.
Yeah.
And it comes to the shape of the tail, whether she has color in her tail or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And finally, she controls the fins and the size of the fish.
Does she control the size of the male fish as well?
Yes. IFGA guppy females are bigger than the Asian strains.
I definitely have some huge ones.
Yeah.
Not some of these, like what I call my mutt guppies, which I think are prettier than what would be called a mutt guppy, but
a female guppy can obtain 3 inches in size.
Yes, at least. I mean,
yes.
These mamas, they're old. I mean, they're getting to the point where they're almost starting to, swim like that.
And they're past breeding age.
Right. But then
the younger the female, the better the fry is. As she gets older, her fry are not as strong, and all the other factors involved. It's the same thing as in humans or any animal.
Huh.
The best points of breeding, I would say, is about 4 months to about 9 months. Past that.
Wow.
Yes. And then you've got to try to find yourself an unhit female when you want to do genetics experiments as well.
I have a set right now that I'm working on. I have a friend, which hasn't been on my show yet, but he's the biologist I keep talking about, and he comes over and we go through my fish, and we have a little project we're working on, and I had to get unhit females, and it has to do with those short body green dragon males. So
yeah. So now what I do, this is my excitement in the hobby. I get to study fish I can't or you can't keep.
Okay. But how do you get them? You don't.
You don't. You go to nature, and then you go to the people that do keep them and ask questions. Example, snakeheads.
Got it. Uh-huh.
Okay. Sure, all of them are aggressive, but so are cichlids.
Right.
Okay. What kind of damage would an 8-inch snakehead do? The same kind of damage that an 8-inch cichlid can do.
Uh-huh. They look like gobies. Big gobies.
Yeah. Yes. And some of them are very colorful.
Yes, I've seen that.
And so when I see media dealing with snakeheads, like Canada was the best at it. Oh, we've identified a Russian snakehead. Sure, a Russian snakehead will live in Canada waterways. It turned out it was not a Russian snakehead. It was from Malaysia and would not survive our winters. So why do they keep fish? Okay, like I understand the reason why. But this is my question. Why ban species of fish that can't survive in your waterways?
Right.
Do you want to know the answer?
Yeah.
Custom agents are not trained ichthyologists.
Custom agents aren't trained ichthyologists.
Exactly.
So they just pick a fish and don't do the research on the fish.
It's not the custom agents that do it. It's the actual country fishery and game people that ban the species. The customs agent is just the guy who reads the paperwork. They are not trained in it.
Right.
So this has been my argument all along. I have my cousin on my side. My cousin studies whales, okay? And that's the animal that got me into the hobby.
Is he on that boat? No. Do you ever go on that boat out there that they go and fight for the whales?
Oh, yes.
I watched that show.
He's involved in looking after the orcas on your West Coast.
Yeah. Huh.
He lives on the island, and that's where I want to go after COVID is over with. That's where I want to go. I'm tired of where I am.
Where are you?
I'm in Trail, British Columbia, which is in the Kootenays, which is in bear country.
Oh, ooh. No,
Yes.
I don't like bears.
Yes. We have grizzlies and black bears all over around here.
Oh, no. I mean, it's not like you can just get away from them that fast either, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that would be...
a black bear mama and her cub with my walker.
Right?
Yeah.
Woo!
Not fun. But we got bears all over the place, okay, up here in Canada, like especially in British Columbia. But if I want to watch something black, it has to have white on it too. And I would much rather watch a killer whale that feeds on salmon
than a bear that would feed on people.
Yeah.
I get it. No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was my cousin who goes, well, I know of a live bearing fish that I will give you. When I was 7. What did it turn out to be? A guppy.
Guppy.
Yeah.
But guppies back then don't have the color that they do now,
whales,
right?
I will teach you about whales, but you have to learn about this fish. Meanwhile, he was breeding discus in the States. Yeah. No way was I getting discus out of him because you're not ready yet. You don't know.
Right.
Your age has got one big advantage over my age, my old age of aquarium.
What's that?
The reverse osmosis unit was the best discovery for any aquarium hobby.
Oh. RO.
Yes. Would save on the distilled water bill. Imagine keeping brown discus in a 55-gallon tank, which I did when I was a kid, Wild's F1 stock, in 6 pH water, and having to run down to the store to get 20 gallons of water every week.
Woo.
For a water change. Yeah.
And then you got to add stuff back to it.
I would add black tonic extract at that point. I originally set up the tank with peat moss.
Oh, okay.
And until I could keep cardinal tetras, there was no way my boss was going to give me discus. I wanted Heckle discus so bad when I was a kid. Oh, man. But he went, I'm not going to sell you this. I'm going to give you these cardinals. You take them home and you keep this group for like 2 years. Best test in the world. Using the cardinal in the cage. It's like the canary in the aquarium, okay? They're both relative.
Right.
When you're spending like maybe $1 on a cardinal in comparison to $30 on discus, my boss did me a big favor. Taught me about water chemistry.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to keep a fish, you might as well breed the fish.
Right.
That was my thoughts back then.
Right.
So, turns out cardinals breed at 4.7.
Oh.
Breed at 6.
Wow. 4.7 is low.
Well, ultims go down to 4.0.
Wow.
And how do you treat egg problems? Throw copper at it? Antibiotics don't work at that pH.
Right.
What number am I supposed to be on?
So you try to look for the alternative. This is where I learned about study of plants.
Check.
Antiseptic bacteria.
Pine straw.
Yeah.
You don't have on a shirt.
Yeah, I do.
Oh. Huh.
And I know breeders that have used them. So sooner or later, some abstract kind of extract is going to be used. Why not
Out
do
of
it?
made out of the pine straw?
Yeah. Look at the different species over in Thailand for botanicals. Do you think they're using almond leaves when they've got their own species in Thailand?
Oh. You need to get to 70.
You just told me that I was supposed to get to 60.
10 a day. You did six. You got to. You started out at 60 this morning. You got to get to 70.
I started at 60. Okay. So I got a couple.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, my kid. We homeschool him, so he needed a little help.
And I can understand why our pine would not work with rainforest fish.
Why?
Because our pine can take water down to 3.0. And if they contain that kind of bacterial agent to kill off grass, it's going to do some ugly things to fish in that kind of dosage. So where is that point in our river system? What prevents that from happening? And what kind of buffers are involved? This is where water chemistry comes all into it.
Yeah. That makes
And our
sense.
waterways are becoming softer and softer, by the way, because of our glacial runoff.
So, yes, a question I was asking, and I don't know why, out of the blue, I was asking myself, how does the ocean replenish its salt? Where did the salt come from to make the ocean salty? And how does it stay salty?
That is from the breakdown of salinity that are in salt areas underneath the ocean, as well as in Africa. There is a lot of salt areas in Africa, salt mines.
Like salt reefs?
We're going to have a lot of underground water systems that we don't know about.
And then something told me that I read that it is because of the reason it's not as salty as it used to be is because the runoff from all of the waterways spilling into the ocean.
Exactly.
The minerals and everything are becoming more sediment.
If you would look up
mixing
the glacier around Jasper, is called Columbia Ice Fields. In my youth, I visited that 60 years ago. Okay? It almost went out to the highway. Okay? And if you look at the highway now and compare it to where the glacier is now, you can see how much water has melted into the river systems in 60 years.
Wow.
And it used to cross the highway, from my understanding, before my time. I saw it when I was like 7, 6, around there. And then I saw it in the 80s, and I'm going like, wow, has that melted a lot? And then I saw a video of it, and I'm going, it's getting worse. We have got serious climate change on our planet. And here is something from another mentor of mine who is from the Vancouver Public Aquarium. He breeds marine fish, okay? He's well known. He goes, why are aquarists trying to make things going harder when the world's waterways are actually going softer? why have we adopted discus for hard water when our actual river systems are being more and more pH into less, okay?
Okay.
Because of all the botanicals now. All of those trees aren't leaving. So those needles are still falling in, but they aren't getting the minerals off of the glaciers.
So the balance isn't there.
So the balance is there.
It was.
And so the water companies are, oh, this happened to, can I mention a friend on here? I'm sure.
Sure.
On YouTube. Bob Kaler from Kaler's Aquatics.
Yeah.
I said to him, you know, you're having water difficulties because of your water bouncing from 6 point whatever to 8 in a matter of time. He's done this. He's reported on it. Well, what is your water company doing?
Right.
I would much rather see the water out of the river with no buffers than relying on a water company.
I won't drink our water. I won't do it. I don't care how much they say they do this and do that and do. I won't do it. And we've got too many gas wells around here that are blowing up. I won't even drink from our wells. Not that bottled water, isn't much better, but I'm not.
The Alberta issues, because I know what oil industry does to waterways.
Yeah. And people around here, they're not thinking about that. And we see the cattle pasture that I have right now, the pipes that are in the ground are so old. Last year alone, we had 37 of them blow up in this area.
Yeah.
I mean, and they don't come in and replace all the pipe. They just replace that section, that little bitty section, like maybe 100 foot. That makes sense.
When I got that, I had to go, well, why are we, as aquarists, trying to keep fish that are naturally from rainforests in unnatural waters and breed them in them? I sort of began to think about that. Like, it's going to be hard to put back discus into the wild if it came to that point, because now they're used to hard water.
Right.
The ones in the hobby have got a better chance of living in Lake Malawi than they do in their rainforest.
Well, I mean, and one aspect is that really that bad if you can take a fish that was in a hard water and put it in a softer water. Maybe it needs that water supply needs that fish to be there for a certain reason. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is discus from the Rio Negro, which has a pH range of a little bit below 4 to about 7. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we push them up and adapt them to live in 8.0 water. Like, not all the stores are switching water on fish. So you got a saltwater fish being adapted in the wholesale market.
Right.
Right now to 7.0. Imagine taking it up to 8. We had to do that.
Yeah.
I saw the damages of that fish, the killing, the massacre of the canary of the cage. But I was taught how to keep that canary.
Yeah. Man.
With distilled
That's
water.
crazy.
And that's how come RO water for the hobby is the greatest thing that they've developed.
Right, right.
You have to remineralize that.
They
don't
have
you?
some.
No,
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't.
you have to fertilize the plants that you keep in with it.
Peat
Ah.
moss.
So it's good for the fish. It's just you gotta neutralize it for the, or not neutralize it, but make it rich in nutrients for
Depends
the
on.
plant.
Exactly.
Depends on what
so
fish.
if you're adding fertilizer, it's the same kind of minerals that you're mineralizing with.
Oh, shoot.
Magnesium. What do plants grow on? Magnesium,
Mind blown.
iron, phosphorus. What's in plant fertilizers?
Everything
Iron.
you just said.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It's doing the damage to the fish if the pH is so high.
Yeah. So why don't start making them lower instead of higher?
Exactly.
Huh.
Or unless you want ornamental discus added into Lake Malawi, they get killed in there, but
Yeah, quick.
that's where the waterways where we've taken certain species of fish.
Right.
We've been gradually trying to take the guppy lower.
That's so more people can keep the guppy.
Exactly. Guppies do not do well below 7.
Right. And
They're
it's
not a
easier.
rainforest fish.
Isn't it easier to make your water softer than it is to make it harder?
No, it's easier to make anything harder.
Okay.
Yeah, it's harder to soften it than harden it.
Way harder to soften it because of the botanicals needed. Peat moss, if it's done correctly, you can get it maybe to the 5.5 range.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that. My boss could. Okay, I got it around 6, and he goes, "Here, you can have some of my brown discus. Until you can drop that to 5.5, you are not getting Echo discus from me. But when you do, I will give them to you for free."
Wow. You did it too, didn't you?
He gave me his browns for free. You successfully kept cardinal tetras. Here's a group of more, and here's a pair of browns for your birthday.
Did you ever get it down to 5.4 or 5.5?
I think I could now, but not then.
You couldn't do.
I liked the stability of 6 because I understood it. I kept browns later on with zebra plecos.
Zebra plecos.
Yes.
Love them. I love them. I love them.
You want to know how much I got my breeding group for?
How much?
Group of 9 for $35 a piece before the dam was built.
What?
Yes. $35 a piece. And I didn't pay for them. I traded fish for them because I bred a certain type of fish. And the store was out of them. And he goes, "I desperately need them.
Oh my gosh.
I need all of your Julidochromas today. Come into the store. Tell me what you want. I will go get them for you." I sold all of my Julidochromas.
That is so awesome.
Breeders to them. I ended up with 4 browns and a group of 9 zebra plecos. Yeah. Sexed.
And you said that's before they did the dam?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so they dammed up a river and that...
They ended up burning up in my fire. We had an apartment fire.
Oh. That stinks.
Yeah, because of a meth lab next door.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of that. I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Man.
Yeah.
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 Man.
You can imagine me being a cripple and all of that, and my best friend comes racing across town to come and get me. Because there I am looking like Jesus with a blanket around me because I had to leave the apartment with only shorts on. In the middle of winter.
Oh my gosh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
My fish gave birth last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was cool.
Some more endlers?
Yep, more endlers.
And I lost some wild endlers in that. I lost, what else did I lose? My Xenotaka Eisney, an endangered live bearer. I lost my Julidochromis. I lost my one guppy strain that I was keeping back then.
Man.
Lost everything that I owned. But luckily I have good friends that,
right.
You know.
Right.
But
I
we don't
love some zebra plecos.
I like
but they cost so much now.
Yeah, I like the snowball pleco.
Red.
See what? I'm sorry. What?
They are becoming inbred. Already.
They're becoming inbred already.
Yes. You want to know the trait of an inbred pleco?
What?
Their noses get pushed in like a pug.
Roxanne.
Huh.
That's crazy. See, I learn something new every day.
You know, I only bred zebras. That's the only pleco that I was able to get to breed, but I had breeding Chiatosoma plecos for my Goodiad tank because they like cold water. Zebra plecos love warm water. They're the best pleco to go in with a discus. I wanted to get the yellow discus out of the Xingu River. You know, when people don't realize how much races have been involved in the various strain development of discus. They're actually crossing races of same species, okay, different colors, to make those colors. Like each one of those riverways in South America has got a different species of discus.
Wow.
Wow.
A different color variation. Same with angelfish. Like now they're beginning to catch on. Peruvian. Oh, okay. Before they didn't catch on. And getting pure strains of wild angelfish. Good luck. Very good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Good
luck.
So are we at the point of hybridization of a race? Like this is what the American killifish are into. Because they pinpoint the exact position of where that fish is collected. And there's collection points that have got various different colorations of fish. The same species. It's like birds. It's like finches.
Wow. This is mind-boggling.
Right?
So this is why I go into the wild through me just sitting here and looking for guys that go scuba diving that have got a GoPro and want to share that with the community as a Creative Commons video. I put the music to it. I narrate it.
Right.
Some of the music is my own.
You can sing, Chewy?
No, but
He can play the guitar.
You can play the guitar, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I worked with some great guitar players, and they're going, you got to play guitar or else the PTSD and the depression is going to kill you.
Right, yeah. You gotta have something.
Is being a monitor tech, you're usually on the guitar player's side of the stage, and he's usually your best friend. Right?
Yeah.
So, here, look, here, we gotta get him to play guitar. So, my friend, when I was basically homeless by my fire, here, you play this. You stay downstairs in the basement and you play this and you learn. You have a basic idea because you've watched me for years. Yeah, I do.
Wow.
And that is, I don't care. Like, my music is my music. I'm willing to share it with the world, okay? I don't care. Take it.
Right.
Take it. Sing to it if you want. I could care less. Play guitar.
Right.
A friend of mine played guitar. One of my songs. Hey, I like this. Can I play guitar? Can you play for me? Well, he's my guitar teacher, so he puts together a lead, and like I've donated it. Like, if you guys want to sell it, if the Fish family wants to sell it and put it together to have it go to a donation, I'm all for that.
Right.
I could care less. I could really care less. I'm old enough to understand I'm not a star. Because I've worked with them. I know their talents. So, to me, I'm a campfire guitar player.
Hey, we need them too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
We
you're
have
gonna go to
little...
work at 2.
So to me, I put that into the background. I don't even like talking about it. So I get Wikipedia to read its article. Okay, about a certain fish or information that I know that is rather reliable, and I do look up what Wikipedia is getting the information from. So I know what is real and what isn't.
Okay, I'm going to say, I thought Wikipedia was opinions, like gathered opinions.
No, you'll go down and you'll see references.
Okay.
And some of those references are pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yes. Wikipedia is an opinion where, when it comes to rock stars, that's opinion.
Yeah.
When it comes to science, they have to back it up. And on Wikipedia,
right.
You will see citation needed.
Because they don't have one.
Because they don't have one.
Gotta give the hard evidence.
But when you see the number, you go down and check what that number is saying. And see where it comes from. And when it comes from a place like Fish Base, which is run by ichthyologists, I tend to agree with it. Because then I go to the site, I see what the ichthyologist is saying about it.
Wow.
Wow. Y'all, we have been going for almost 2 hours again. Time flies.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that, Jess?
Nothing. Nothing. I was just saying. Time flies.
No, it definitely does.
Basically working on the music side of Thailand, and I'm waiting to try to have some publishers over in Japan help me, because I do not speak the Thai language and I don't want to use my fish family
Hey, Danny.
to give me access, okay? And that side is hard.
Yeah.
Like, I used to manage a radio show that was on air 6 hours a day.
That's a long time.
And you know what I did?
What?
Book guests from around.
Yeah, book guests.
Yes. Yes. That was the job. I was like a publisher.
Wow.
Involved in publicity.
Right.
So I understand the music industry very, very well. I know the lady that discovered Lady Gaga. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get up and not have somebody like to talk to. That's why me and Chubbs, decided to do one together. And then, I'm doing this, so hopefully I have people want to come up. But I love to learn. I love to learn.
Get books.
Well, I have a hard time. Like, I can listen to books, and I will read, but it is so much. I guess I'm more of an audio person than reading. I guess I have a hard time comprehending if I read. So I have to read in very small pieces.
Hands-on.
I have the problem of writing. Like, I'm a journalist, but I need the editor to correct my grammar, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
Yeah. Because I have a way of expressing myself. But that's caused from concussions because of my brain.
Right. My whole family tells me that I have my own language and only I can speak it. But, oh well, it's just me.
So is it getting colder down there?
Well, we did have a cold spell, but now we're back up into the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's super warm out here today.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get 88 today. But we're supposed to have a cold front coming through. Do what?
Frozen points. And yes, I understand why snakeheads are banned in your country. Because there's a snakehead out there that could do lots of damage, no matter what they eat in certain environments. Like, dwarf snakeheads are primarily mollusk eaters, like snail eaters. Like, they're the ones that control snails as well as tuppers and that in their environment in India. Okay? They're just territorial, like a cichlid. That's what makes them an aggressor.
Wow.
But they're used to zebra danios and barbs like crazy in their natural world. Zebra danios come from India. They look like the gaucha that Stephen the biologist was mentioning. That's the snakehead that the zebra danios hang out with. You got them looking after them. Why?
Right.
Well, because there's other bigger fish that would hurt them. Meanwhile, the zebra danios are looking for food on the ground for the snakehead. Oh, mollusk.
Huh.
That's what they eat. But the bigger ones eat fish.
Uh-huh.
That's their primary diet.
Right.
So, of
Wow.
course, they get the nasty reputation.
They ain't gonna eat our big catfish.
No.
Yeah.
They can eat the babies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long does it take for a dirted tank to cycle?
It depends. You can't put a time limit on it. You just gotta watch it and check your parameters.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to set these two 10 gallons up dirty.
This way, it takes less time in hard water than it does soft.
Yeah, I got hard water. Well, I got Endler, so I got to make the water hard anyway. So it'll probably go a little bit easier.
Because in soft water, you're trying to establish a botanical situation where the nitrates get eaten up,
Right.
as well as the ammonia by the bacteria and the plant life. Like, it's much more easier to cycle a tank with plants than it is fish.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Do both.
Gotcha.
I do both.
And the best fish to use for a cycling fish, okay, is zebra Daniel. Their waterway is so dirty in India. Like, India waterways are not known to be clean, okay? Like, there's so much pollution naturally, and the added human pollution in that area is ridiculous. But
Right.
animals thrive in it.
Wow.
This is why I always, was taught to me by, like, if you go out on the Calgary Aquarium Society website and look up archives, there is a water comparison between Lake Malawi and Calgary water.
Uh-huh.
Exactly the difference between all three waterways, because there were two reservoirs in Calgary. This is why, when I think of an environment, you got to know that waterways.
Wow.
To be successful to breed that fish.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. You got to know their environment.
Exactly.
Right.
And
so you got to know the animals of that environment. You have to know the plants of that environment. Like I said, Indian almond leaves are in India.
Right.
Thai has got its own almond tree.
Apparently, we can use magnolia leaves.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I learned that on Kenny's.
Tap the dirt, right?
Huh?
The plants that you have to watch out for are the ones that have got antiseptic or antibacterial problems.
Which you said pine does.
Or medicated to the point over than what the fish needs or whatever. I know a guy that. Have you ever heard of the drug Melafix?
Yes.
Well, it's made out of Malacca leaves. It's one of the only chemicals that we can get up here in Canada because it doesn't contain an antibiotic. But it's successful in the aquarium. So if you get Malacca leaves, all that you're doing is adding a natural way of controlling some bacterial agents. Because they have been used in aquariums. There's a few people in our fish family that use them with no problem.
Morning, Anthony. T-Bone wants to know what kind of guppies you have back there, Jess.
Oh, T-Bone, those are the cherry snakeskin, the albino cherry snakeskin, and I have a red dragon big ear Dumbo, which is the big one, the big tail, red tail, and then the other ones are actually green dragons Dumbos. They're short body green dragon Dumbos. That's my male cold tank. And I don't want to put them in with my mutt guppies just yet, so they are in there.
So, I want to get in this part because since I'm covering Thailand, I'm going to give a few people a big plug. Is that okay?
Sure.
And you might want to check this out as well.
Okay.
Thailand, I know, their biggest commercial importer. And the reason why I know him, he is the guy that studies the genetics of flower horns.
Okay.
His name is David Lucan. And David supplies a lot of the fancy flower horns to the pet industry as well as to breeders over here in the United States and Canada.
Okay.
Well, when I had my radio show, I had the honor of interviewing Mr. David Lucan. I did it through the United Flower Horn Association. They were having their big show, okay, over in the local shop. Okay, so there is actually old videos around on YouTube of the radio station being involved with a promotion with the saltwater company involved, a big saltwater company involved, advertising this flower horn particular show. So we got Mr. Lucan on, and David exports every fish in the world.
Wow.
From guppies, fish that are very closely related to yours because he knows everybody in that community. To bettas, to flower horns, to monster fish. He's the big monster fish supplier out of Asia, okay? Like big, super big, long, red-tailed catfish that would be in the hunt, okay? He's got a big exporter. So when I had him on, we're talking about flower horns. You know what we talked about while the music played in the radio show? Guppies. So if you look up Feng Shui Aquatics, and just put guppies, you might see a few of those strains there.
Okay.
Okay.
And how do you say it?
Feng Shui. FENGSHU Aquatics.
Okay.
I'll make sure I'll go look. I'll type it in myself and put it back today.
Well, I'm gonna hop down. I gotta get ready for work. Thanks for having me up.
All right, Kev. Thanks for jumping up.
Yep. Thanks for enlightening me with all new knowledge, Chewy. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
That's it. Feng Shui Aquatics.
Yes.
Okay.
FENGSHUI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Aquatics, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned a lot just from the exporting side of that and the grades that they sell. Okay?
Yeah.
I would love to get some of his fish. Just genetically alone. And I don't know if he still has a transshipper in the United States or not for the hobby.
Uh-huh.
But it is worth checking.
Like, I use the one out of Dallas. Joel Fernandez, I think his name is. If I have anything that comes from Thailand, I just had 2 female betas, big ear, platinum, white platinum, big ear female betas come from Indonesia.
But shipping also comes into numbers of fish ordered too.
Yeah, I only had 2.
Yeah. Try bringing in boxfuls. You know, like the best, like cargo wise, it's like the issue of the industry. And that's how come you see the low grade pet shop type of guppy in the pet shop. Because they aren't willing to pay. It's kind of hard to ask like $35 a pair.
Yeah.
But
I even tried getting mine to let me rent an aquarium, one of their tanks, and just let me, whatever I wanted to put in there that month or that week or whatever, and then, of course, they'd have to keep it clean or whatever, but just let me sell, pairs and trios of whatever it is that I have, other than, what I sell to them as the mutt guppies, and they just sell as general guppies. And he actually did toss it around in his head for a minute. That was it.
You actually tried doing any crosses?
Do what?
Have you ever tried doing any crosses?
Yes. Well, I'm trying to do one right now.
Out of curiosity, what are you trying to breed?
I've got 2 of those Dumbo Green Dragon short bodies with my albino cherry snakeskin. My albino cherry snakeskin females.
Okay, I've got an interesting proposition for you.
What you got?
Get that strain off of redfish, bluefish, okay, and cross that with your albino galaxy.
Okay.
It would be a very, very interesting thing because it might fade out the blue, the dark blue body, and make it light blue.
Right.
Okay?
What is the name? What's the color of the ones that redfish, bluefish has?
He's calling them a topaz. Okay, and that comes from the breeder. Okay, like we're not going to get into this. Okay.
Right.
Because they've renamed the genetics of the fish to be a common name. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Like me and the representative that redfish, bluefish, and I had a talk, who is also a member of the IGES. And he basically told me, yes, the color does change as the fish gets older, which means there's the magenta gene in it. It's the other side of the cross that Philip did.
Right.
Like if you know what a Hawaiian blue Moscow is, and you crossed it with that, definitely a dark blue is going to overshadow a light blue.
Right.
Therefore, the dominant is the dark blue. It is when he added the albino gene into the picture.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I would like for you and my other friend, okay, You can call this as to the project. You know,
Okay.
the head.
Yeah.
Well, head is getting the same guppies.
Okay.
Okay. He's breeding them to LRBs, albino galaxies.
Okay.
Not for me to buy me a strain. Okay?
Uh-huh.
My guppies are with Ed.
Right.
Okay? You can call on the other side of the picture. These are sort of like my gift to you.
Right.
Okay? You're paying $35 for the genetics for a pair.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Reasonable plus shipping.
Okay.
I would get 2 pairs. One for the line and one for the cross.
Okay.
Okay? Okay? The line, I don't care. The cross is that.
Right.
Okay? I don't care what you call the fish. I really don't. Just know the genetics of the fish.
Right.
And know where it came from. And it isn't from me.
I wonder. Right. I wonder
Okay?
how the
My mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how that magenta gene is going to come out in the albino.
I'm hoping the dark blue head turns light blue.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hoping for the same type of gradual color difference of that blue into a red tail.
Huh. Interesting. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay?
Let's do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yes, we're going to do that.
This is my sort of like little project to try to bring the guppy community together.
There you go.
Have fun with guppies.
Yes. Have fun with guppies. And learn. And learn.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Chewy, on that note, I'm going to shut this down for today.
Thank you for having
No, thank you for coming up, man. This has been very enlightening. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, and thank you for everybody else who popped in on chat. And I hope y'all got something from this as well. And I will see you guys again tomorrow, right after Father Fish. See ya.